Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to record a macro to apply quotes to dialogue text after the fact. Now, why am I doing this particular tutorial today? Well, there is a good bit of overlap in what I'm doing today and what I've done in a couple previous videos, but today we get our first peek at some Visual Basic for Applications code because it's not going to record exactly like we want it to this time. Now, before you run screaming to cleaning the toilet or washing dishes, because that's more important than looking at code, I'm going to be very gentle and easy with this. So please stick with me. Obviously, you're watching this because there's a little bit of interest peaked. So stick around and see what's going on. You'll see it's not as bad as it seems. Now, what am I doing? I'm applying quotes to some presumed dialogue text, the whole paragraph here. So on this particular paragraph in this sample document, my cursor is starting in an arbitrary position. I need to tell where to start recording. So I come down here to the little record button on the status bar. Now, I have talked about the details of both the recording process and a couple of the dialogues we're going to see. I've talked about the details in a separate video. I'll put the link in the description below. So please check that out if you want more details. Here, I'm going to move a little faster for time's sake. So I click the record option or button. Now that brings up this dialogue. I'm going to call this one Apply Quotes Test. I want to assign it to a keyboard shortcut, so I'll click the little keyboard button here in the kind of middle right. Now, again, I've talked about this dialog box before. Suffice it to say, what I'm most interested in here is this edit box kind of in the middle. It says press new shortcut key. I'm going to assign it to Control-Shift-Q. So I'll press that, hold down Control-Shift and press Q. Notice it does say it's currently assigned to symbol font. I almost never use symbol font from the keyboard shortcut, so I have no problem with it overriding that. I click Assign. And now it has assigned it to the current key, Control-Shift-Q. I'm done with that, so I will close. Now, notice that there's a little cassette by the cursor now, and that is Word informing me that it is recording every step I take. Now, generally speaking, Word can't really record mouse selections and clicks, so it's really listening for and recording keyboard commands, anything I type on the keyboard, or ribbon commands. That's what it's really looking for and what it can record. So what are my tasks? My first task is to move to the beginning of the paragraph, but there is a gotcha. Now, again, I've talked about this gotcha in a previous video, link in the description below, but here I want to move one character to the right. And the reason is I want this macro to work from any position in the paragraph. It just so happens that if I start at the beginning of the paragraph, my attempt to move to the beginning will actually go to the previous paragraph. I don't want that. I can work around that by starting off by moving one character to the right. Now, when I try to move to the beginning of the paragraph, everything should work. I use Control up arrow to move to the beginning of the paragraph. Now I want to add my quote. Now, you could just do Shift double quote. Got to put the regular straight quotes. I don't like straight quotes. I like left and right quotes. So I'm going to go to the symbol menu. Insert symbol. Now, if you haven't looked these up before, you'll kind of have to scroll through the list to get it. Right here is left double quotation mark. I happen to be in the Calibri font right now. Whatever font you're using, you should have a left double quotation mark there. Now, if you happen to know what Unicode is, then the number for the Unicode double quote is 201C. If you don't know what that means, then pretend like I never said it. Incidentally, you could also type in an ASCII code here if you happen to know what that means. That's the fast way to find it. If not, just scroll through it. I've done plenty of scrolling myself, so no shame in that. Once you've selected that left double quote, click Insert, and then close the symbol window. So now it has inserted my left double quote. I'm excited. It's working. I want to go to the end of the paragraph. I'm going to use a workaround, and I'm going to go to the next paragraph and go back a character. So Control down arrow will go to the next paragraph, and I'll go back one character. Now I'm at the end of that originally current paragraph. Again, I want to insert a quote. I'll use the symbol dialogue. This time I'll choose the right double quote. The Unicode here is 201D. Insert, close. Now I'm actually done. I've inserted my left and right double quotes at the beginning and the end of the paragraph respectively. I need to tell Word to stop recording. Come down here to my status bar. There's a little stop record button. Click that. Now I'm done. It's always good policy to test your macros, okay? So I'm going to come 2 paragraphs down, and I want to test it on this short paragraph here. Control-Shift-Q. It works. It applied my quotes. Wait a second, but there is a gotcha here. Notice the quotes don't look the same. If I do this quote here and this quote here, they have a little, they're both right double quotes, but they look a little different. Word is changing the font on me. Now, I didn't tell it to change the font, so there's something quirky in the way Word is recording this macro that's making it change the font. I don't like that. I just want it to keep the regular same font. And normally Word will do that, but sometimes it tries to put all the details in, and sometimes it can mess little things like that up. And apparently it did in this case. So how do I fix that? This is where we peek at the code. Now, there are a couple different ways to get to the code. Now, again, please stick with me. This is pretty English-like, pretty easy. I'm just trying to, just kind of get your feet wet with it. I'm not trying to teach you computer science or anything. So I can press Alt F11. That brings up the editor window. Or I can get to it by going View, Macros. Now again, this should be pretty similar on a Mac, almost exactly the same on a Mac. So just follow along. The layout of the dialogues will be a little different, but basically the same. Macros, View Macros. Now I'm going to come down here to Apply Quotes Test, right there. Now I have a lot of macros because I've written a lot, but Apply Quotes Test. I come over here to this Edit button, right here, kind of in the middle. So that's equivalent to pressing Alt F11. This is my macro editor window. Don't worry about all the details. I know it can look intimidating. That's not my point. My point is to kind of show you first how English like this actually seems when you're writing a macro, but 2, how I can tweak it to take away that font change. That's really what was part of my motivation. Well, I said that was part of my motivation here. The other part was to actually let you have a peek at the code. First, notice that I have a selection object here. That's your actual selection in the document. Now, even if you don't have text selected, your cursor point, your insertion point, is your selection. It just doesn't have any characters inside it. So we call that the selection. Notice what we did. We moved right, we moved up, moved down, moved left. Oh, okay. Hopefully that doesn't seem too bad. You're just moving the cursor around. Notice we also inserted a symbol. Okay, that's not that bad, is it? Now let's get to the tweak. It changed the font, and notice right here it says font, something plus body. I don't know what that means. I don't reference it like that. All I know is it messed me up, and I don't like it. Now you can get in trouble tweaking code, okay? But in this case, I'm gonna delete it all the way past the comma. Get rid of that because that's what messed me up. Okay, again, on the inserting the right double quote, that was the left. I'll come down here to the right double quote and delete the font equals plus body on that one. Now I need to save it, so I can press Control S, or I can choose File, Save Normal. Now it says Save Normal because you're actually saving it in the normal template. That's your standard Word template. If you're not familiar with that, that's where it saves it. Okay, so I can close that macro editor window out. So now let's come down here 2 more paragraphs and let's test our revised tweaked macro. Control-Shift-Q is what I assigned it to. Boom, done. It's keeping the correct font, applying my left and right double quotes. I am happy. I have my tweaked code doing exactly what I told it to do. Now, if you want it to be more robust with this, like apply it to multiple paragraphs, that really would require some more programming and the VBA stuff. Also, you might have a variant you're interested in. In fact, if you do a variant, it gives you an idea and you do something else, let me know in the comments what you did. I'd be curious and interested to see what you did. You could, of course, record a macro to do the opposite, to delete the double quotes. There's a bunch of different things you could do. But for now, that's actually the end of this tutorial. So I will sign off and catch you in another video.